All right, guys, I am here today. I see you guys talking in the chat, gossiping, I will say, in the chat. That's okay. But good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. We are here this morning. Memory names are absolutely flying this morning. MU's up to 980s, almost back up to 1,000. SanDisk is up to 1,600s. Oil is still slightly up on the day, but it's still at 81 something a barrel. The S&P 500 broke all-time highs a few different times yesterday. NASDAQ is over 30,000 this morning, and a lot of this is getting driven recently by OpenAI news. So OpenAI revenue run rate has topped 40 billion according to a Bloomberg report. So OpenAI's annualized revenue run rate has surpassed $40 billion, doubling its pace from late last year as AI builds momentum ahead of an expected IPO. We still think they're going to IPO next year, but, they're kind of competing with Anthropic here. And, we may get an Anthropic IPO later on this year. There's been a battle between Anthropic and OpenAI. They both have kind of accelerated enterprise adoption and filed paperwork for a public listing that could occur anywhere between this year and next year. Anthropic reported a 47 billion run rate in May. But OpenAI has actively adjusted its go-to-market and pricing strategies to kind of be more competition in that regard. But yeah, that news is ultimately helping boost memory names. Overnight memory stocks ran. SK Hynix up 6%, biggest HBM maker for AI. Samsung up 2%. The Kospi is up 2.5% overnight. And so the big story today, I think, is just memory running. We do have retail sales this morning. So retail sales do release live at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time today. We'll see if that moves markets at all. We don't know yet. But again, OpenAI growing 20% per month means more AI models are being trained, more inference compute is needed, more data centers might be built, more GPUs are needed. So this affects NVIDIA, and you can see NVIDIA here. Let's take a look. Let me find my screen. There it is. NASDAQ at 30,250s. Oil is up there. NVIDIA is sitting at 225s this morning. And each GPU needs HBM. So DRAM, NAND. And so, OpenAI 40 billion, doubling. They have to buy NVIDIA chips. Each NVIDIA GPU needs HBM. So SK Hynix wins and more. So memory names are running up today. We had inflation data over the last few days that did cool somewhat. PPI came in lower than expected. CPI came in flat. Now markets and really economists are pricing in no rate hikes this year. Just a few months ago, they priced in 2 rate hikes this year. Now they're pricing in, they don't think, there's a good chance that they don't think we're going to get any rate hikes this year. Now, if we take a look at the odds for this at this point in time, we are at about only a 30% chance we'll raise rates next meeting. This is always subject to change. We do have one more inflation data report week before this report, but if you look at December now, at this point in time, there's still a 36% chance we're not going to raise rates at all. A 44% chance we'll have one 25 basis point hike this year, according to the odds. Markets are running up this morning. NASDAQ over 30,000. So the NASDAQ is at 30,250s. The S&P is probably the bigger story, though, because it's been breaking all-time highs. Here's the S&P futures contract. It got up to 78.38 yesterday, higher than the previous highs. I think around 78.20, if I remember. Yeah, right around 78.20 were the previous highs on the S&P. So a lot of people are going to be watching the S&P today, but memory names are still what really is causing this big rally. We just had a lot of volatility in memory names over the past few months. Just 5 to 6 weeks ago, MU, Samsung, SK Hynix, and most of the DRAM stocks are all down 20% from the highs. A lot of people said this is a memory bear market. Semiconductor stocks lost 1.5 trillion in market value since June. MU alone lost 350 billion in value. Burry shorted MU at 1050s. Remember, and a lot of these came from concerns about the Chinese getting into DUV lithography, circular financing, Burry, peak demand fears. But now all of those concerns are kind of reversing today. Memory prices are holding. DRAM to 2 trillion by 2030 from 747 billion. AI demand has been proven a little bit by that OpenAI news this morning. 20% monthly growth. And so now people are worrying if Burry got in the wrong foot shorting. He's still green in a lot of these, but he also added to some of these positions. And so his average might be a little bit lower than previously on his short positions. So that's the story of the day. Hello, chat. Good morning. Good morning. Let's take a look at everybody here. What's up, Spacex, Ava, Old Hack, Steve? My guy, what's up, dude? Glass half full. Hello. Bromax. Edson. Slum. Visual. The. Ace. Good News. Camper. Random. Boomdoc. Pelican. Keegan. Neon. Don. Pew. Michael. Tally. Rag. G-Man. Ace. Ray. Central. Scrutinizer. Bogdan. Alistair. Brian. Doc. VV. William. Yeah, Sandisk up to 1600s this morning, William. You. Good morning, good morning. Ty. Hello. V. Sam. Jarrett. AI. AJ. Dinah. Mike. Max. Hello. Yellow. Checkerboard. Erkin. Clayton. Straight Jacket. Hello World. Ryan. AK. Todd. I don't know if I said Todd already. I might have. But good morning, guys. We are here today. Boomdoc. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. I got to drink some coffee this morning, man. Chris. HBK. Zai. What's up, dude? Angie. Hello. Pitt. Patrick. Huff. Good morning. Ready for a big dump? Michael shorted. Michael Burry's short average in MU is 942 now. He is getting squeezed off the position. Finally. Thank you for the donation. Who was that? Don? Yeah, Don. Thank you for the donation. Michael Burry average is 942. He's getting squeezed. Yeah, I mean, he's down in MU if that's the case. 942. I know he added to his positions. We're at 980s right now for MU, so he is getting squeezed. Again, I've said this once. I'll say it again. You know, when memory was down so much, I kept saying I thought they were pretty cheap at those current levels. PE ratios were low. Forward PE was even better than TTM. PE ratios were low in a lot of these stocks, man. And I think when you look at AI and the whole thesis of growth, I think it made sense. I think it made sense that they would go up. You know, I think Michael Burry has always had the same problem, which is that he stays in his positions too long. He doubles down instead of just, you know, he was up big probably in a lot of these positions, you know, a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. And it doesn't mean we're necessarily going to continue back up, you know, indefinitely. We might pull back more. But, yeah, he's definitely probably getting squeezed at least a little bit right now. He's probably not loving life as much as he was a couple weeks ago. But it is what it is. That's the nature of markets here. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we do have retail sales today. I don't know what markets are really going to do on this report. It depends on what the numbers show up as. Obviously, retail sales today, and we have Michigan consumer sentiment, which has been kind of moving markets a little bit more than it normally does. Retail sales expected at 0.1%. Last time they were 0.2%. Core retail sales expected at 0.2%. Last time they were negative 0.2%. So we're going to look at retail sales data. We also have Michigan consumer sentiment going live at 10 a.m. It's expected about 54.4. We have 1 and 5 year inflation expectations as well. So can you do a poll for higher or lower retail sales? I don't know if I'm going to do a poll for that. Is he still in it, though? How do we know he hasn't closed his positions? I mean, we think he's still in it. Like, we don't know for sure, but we think he's still in these things. But again, we don't know for sure. Do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Is Michael Burry correct in his positions? Put yes or no in chat right now. Let's hear it. Hey, what's up, V? How you doing, dude? New price targets by analysts for MU and SanDisk. Yeah, look at MU, 980s. MU's pushing towards 1,000. SanDisk is up to 1,600s right now. So MU and SanDisk are doing pretty good this morning. I see somebody say, Burry doesn't care about being underwater. He was hundreds of millions underwater for 4 years on his housing play. He breathes underwater. He was born underwater. You know, we were just, you know, raised it, and he was born in it, basically, is what you're saying. SanDisk is up 50% in 3 weeks. Yeah, but to be honest, SanDisk is also down. Thank you for the donation, by the way, Don. I don't know how many dollars that is. But anytime I see a big donation in a foreign currency, I always assume it's like a 50 cents. But I appreciate the donation. I'll look it up right now. Hey, that's $11. So thank you, sir. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Yeah, SK Hynix and SanDisk. Look at SK Hynix this morning. 170s right now. One of the biggest DRAM producers. And they are a big. Again, most of the news that's helping memory plays right now is the OpenAI news. Again, OpenAI is now projecting 40 billion revenue rate growth in 20% monthly. Trajectory is to 80 billion by the year end for OpenAI, right? This is a validation in memory, a validation in AI. Nvidia's up, again, OpenAI competing with Anthropic. And personally, I like Anthropic way more than OpenAI. Anthropic generally, and I'm going to say generally because even most of these can be wrong and are wrong a decent amount of the time. But what do you like more, OpenAI or Anthropic? Let me know. I like Anthropic way more. Way more. Do a poll on the top 3 stocks today. Higher retail sales. Reddit's going to rocket. What's up, Jod? Correction started, but I think 5% or less. If you value Burry's earnings in today's money, it would be over 1.3 trillion in one trade. I don't understand how OpenAI and Anthropic can be near SpaceX valuation. Grok is getting good. It has more compute plus everything else SpaceX has. Well, right now SpaceX is still losing money. And I'm not saying some of those other companies aren't either, but I would say in AI, the bigger names are, obviously OpenAI and Anthropic. He's got an attitude now. Who has an attitude? I can jujitsu them right now. All right. Unless you're talking about me, I guess I could jujitsu myself as well. But I can butt scoot towards him. Show him who's boss. Point him out. It's his briar patch. In other words, Claude. Do you like Claude or OpenAI more? Grok is not that good. The problem with Grok. Excuse me. The problem with Grok is if you do the fast one, like where you're like, hey, produce it quickly, it's wildly inaccurate. More inaccurate than some of the other ones. I use most of these AI systems like daily. I use a bunch of different ones too. I use Perplexity, I use OpenAI, I use Anthropic, and I use Grok. Grok is good. I don't know if it's the best, personally. And I think people find one and they stick to one, and I'm kind of the opposite. Like, I use a bunch of different ones for a bunch of different things, because I think they're all good at different things, right? But Grok is certainly not good at everything. Oh, he's talking about Burry. Love for Pakistan. Hey, what's up, Mega? Thank you, brother. Anthropic. Yeah, most people say Anthropic. Yeah, gold. Honestly, gold is still up. It did pull back a little bit, but again, gold is just reacting to the lower hike odds that we're getting this year, right? Like, we had CPI inflation flat, PPI inflation cool, and these substantially push back odds of a rate hike this year. So now it's looking a lot less likely that we're going to raise rates this year, which is a win for gold for sure. We also had AMAT earnings come out. Man, I don't know why. Let me drink some coffee. All right, there we go. Which one do you use for symbols? Perplexity, probably. Perplexity is better, in my opinion. And again, I guess it's subjective. To some extent, it's subjective. I like Perplexity. Just because Perplexity, usually when it queries things, it's more accurate than some of the other ones. Look at AMAT. AMAT reported earnings yesterday, down 5% this morning or more. Really, it's down like 10% from some of these levels here. It was at 550s, it's down to 500s. It's about 10%, so it's down. What's a good poll option today? Let's talk about it. Bill Ackman has made some terrible investment decisions recently. I don't know, bro. He bought Netflix yesterday, and honestly, for somebody that's in Netflix, I'm not mad about it. I'm okay with Ackman buying Netflix right now, and honestly, I don't think it's a bad buy. It's the streaming leader, I think it's one of the most resilient companies to AI replacement regarding content. And I like Netflix as a buy. I mean, I've been in Netflix, and obviously, I'm saying this to a certain extent because it boosts my positions a little bit. I mean, let's just be honest here. But I like Netflix. Not an investment professional, but I like Netflix. Who do you got this weekend, Makachev or Gary? Bro, I gotta go Makachev, dude. I'm not gonna bet against Makachev, bro. You know, Makhachev's got that forearm darce, which is super nasty. You know, the question though, Ian Gary's a big dude. He's long, he's tall. It's hard to get close to him. But he did lose recently. And so, I mean, I got to go with Makhachev. But I think Gary's got a chance. It's not like he doesn't have a chance. I think Gary's got a chance. I just think Makhachev probably wins. John also bought Nike. Bro, leave my Nike position alone, dude. I think Nike's still cheap down here, brother. Again, I went to the mall. I went to JD to try to get my kids shoes. And most kids are not buying anything but Nike. Especially older, like teens. I mean, yeah, man, it's this weekend. Think his confidence is down. Whose confidence? There's not a whole lot of growth room for Netflix. I don't know. It's the leader. Will Bitcoin go up? Regarding what? Remember, retail sales could be higher with buying less merchandise because of inflation. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Everybody hates on my Nike trade, dude. Leave me alone. All right, I'm going to go buy some New Balance and just, you know. Don't judge me for my Nike trade. But yeah, NASDAQ's still up here, though, guys. AMAT, though. Look at AMAT. Again, AMAT reported earnings yesterday. And even with AMAT going down like this, and this is another one of Burry's positions here, right? So, like, people are hating on Burry this morning because memory bounced back so much. But another one of his shorts was AMAT, right? I don't think I have that wrong. I'm pretty sure he's shorting AMAT. It did Q3 beat. It posted better than expected revenue. Strong Q4 guidance. But still down 5% in pre-market, or 10% right now. Is it 10%? Let's see. It would be 10% from 50 down to 500, or 550 down to 500. That's 10%. And it's basically doing that. So it's definitely over 5%. Again, Kospi up, Nikkei up overnight. Crude is still somewhat down, but it's still over $80 a barrel for WTI crude. We also had the EIA expects U.S. oil production to average 13.83 million barrels per day in August versus 13.82 in July. So higher output and forecast 13.77 million barrels per day in September. It's still up, but more supply has been helping it. One of the Pakistan deputy prime ministers says that the MOU is the only way forward this morning. But again, we're still kind of quiet right now. Again, Treasury Bassett the other day said they will implement unprecedented measures against Iran and are conducting a maximum pressure campaign against them. UK MTO said a tanker was hit by a drone while transiting outbound through the strait. We had UAE's ADNOC saying 2 of its vessels were attacked on Thursday. Equity futures are somewhat muted, but there's still memory names are running. Light volume in the summer period. Dollar index weakens despite firmer energy prices. It's probably because on lower interest rate sentiment. Here's the dollar index, and you can see the Dixie is falling down this morning. It's at 99.62s. And again, we do have retail sales data in less than an hour. But the NASDAQ's pushing towards the high of the day. The S&P is close to all-time highs now. Again, 78.38 is the new all-time high on the S&P, but in the S&P we're actually above where the previous all-time high was, which I believe was right around here, 78.20 or so. This is in S&P futures. The actual S&P, I have to look at what the all-time high is here. 78.16 is the all-time high in the actual S&P. So we're still around all-time highs in the S&P 500. The NASDAQ is pushing. We're less than $1,000 away from the NASDAQ all-time high. What are we about 650 points away from all-time highs on the NASDAQ. And look at the S&P jump as I say this. So S&P still moving up. A lot of this is memory names helping. MU up big, SanDisk up big, SK Hynix up decent, up to 170s. So memory names are, again, the big story of the market today. If we look at Treasury yields this morning, and we've already kind of looked at the Fed in regards to what they are doing in terms of pricing in markets, but yields are down this morning here. Look at yields. We have more potential economic sanctions in Iran. Strong retail sales might make market sell off. Yeah, that's true. Maybe inflation worries. I don't don't actually wear a lot of Nikes. I mean, I wear Nikes. I wear some Air Maxes. All right. I might wear some, some Jordans if I'm feeling, But most of the time, if I do wear Nikes, I wear Air Maxes. But I still think Nike's coming back. Crypto blockchains are lagging so much behind, time for a rotation. Let's do a poll. We haven't done a poll yet today. What's a good poll, guys? Give me some options. I'm counting on you. We need you here today to help me think of a poll option today. I'm dragging this morning. I'm not comfortable in high tops. I know the cool thing is like Jordan 1 high tops. But dude, I'm in my 30s, bro. I'm not hating on you if you wear high tops, by the way. They're just, I'm just not comfortable in them. Like, they're just not comfortable shoes. And I'm not going to give up comfort to look cool. I mean, sometimes I do for sure, but Nike's coming back. They've never left. Skechers. But look at yields this morning. 2-year treasury yields down to 4.13%. If we look at 10-year yields this morning, I mean, they're down, but they're still super high up at 4.64%. Again, U.S. threatens Iran with more economic sanctions here. U.S. said its naval blockade of Iranian ports continues indefinitely. 10-year note, key benchmark for government borrowing, is up 2 basis points to 4.6s. 2-year yields, which more closely tracks the Fed, over 1 basis point higher. So, again, we had Treasury Secretary Bessent's comments in an interview with Newsmax in which he warned of fresh measures aimed at economic isolation of Iran, which have never been seen. And, again, CNBC said U.S. inflation data this week has been contained and very welcome for treasuries. It absolutely eases higher rate pressures, but that pressure is far from gone. Real yields are higher and will remain so most likely. But it's Friday, guys. It's Friday. No jobs report today. Did John fire Britt, or did Britt quit due to John's bullying? Britt didn't quit. Britt's got other stuff going on. As well as, so Britt is going to be here occasionally still. He's not fired. He can come on whenever he wants. Britt is a world leader. Britt got ish to do. It's Friday. Hey, what's up, Alexis? Axis Capital, Jeffrey initiated analyst coverage on AEHR test systems with a buy rating on August 13th. Buy rating price target 175, upside 35%. I wore starter as a kid. Those big poofy jackets. I had a starter jacket, dude. Everybody had a starter jacket when I was a kid. I had some, what kind of shoes did I have as a kid? I had some, dude, I can't even remember the name. I had some freaking Airwalks, dude. Those went hard as a kid, Airwalks. Some of you guys know. But memory names are higher. SanDisk at 1600s. Apple's basically flat. AMD's up a little bit. But again, we'll see if the S&P 500 can break all-time highs again today. We're still pretty close to all-time highs on the S&P. We get another good day. Memory starts to rally more. Maybe we'll get some runs. I had some Etnies as well. When I skated, I remember I had some Etnies. Circle seems like a bargain now. It's in the heart of finance. We made our own shoes when we were a kid. Yeah, that's right. Rick got stuff to do. Shacks. If you were rocking the Shacks, you probably got made fun of. I knew some kids in school that had Shack shoes, Walmarts, and they got made fun of. But that's okay, Bro, I remember going pick out shoes, dude. It was a stressful experience with my dad, dude. I'd go pick out some shoes. And honestly, I kind of get it now. I went to go pick out shoes for my kids. And it's a stressful experience. Not because my kids are unreasonable, but I went the week school started. Bad idea. Just a bad idea. After watching the Sandlot as a kid, I always wanted some PF Flyers. You know, that marketing campaign in the Sandlot sold me. I was like, I can run faster and jump higher in these things. Give me some PF Flyers. I don't care if I look like I'm in the 50s. You know? DRAM might be my best investment. Hey, thank you for the donation, my friend. Yeah, I mean, DRAM is back up to 58s. Does anybody know Burry's average on DRAM? I'm sure you can pull it, but thank you for the donation, my friend. DRAM long term, I still think is going to be a big win. Not an investment professional. This is not investment advice, but I think DRAM memory names are still going to be big. Whitney Peppercorn, the GOAT. Yeah. Is the straight closed? I mean, it's more closed. You know? Yeah, we can see your comments, Sam. Oil dropping. Hey, shout out to the subscriber. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, brother. 46 minutes until we have retail sales data drops. I had some wheelies too, bro. And at first I would fall. But bro, I got good at those things, dude. I'd be wheeling around in those things. Everybody was like, look at that guy. He's cool. Probably. They said that. Alright, I still haven't done a poll yet, and I need to do one. How about this for a question? Are memory stocks good investments? Are memory stocks a good investment over the next 5 years is the poll. There's the poll. Vote on it. Are memory stocks a good investment over a 5-year period right now? As we look at DRAM, MU, SanDisk, all going up. You know, somebody said SanDisk is up 50%. The problem is that it's down. It was down about 50% from its highs up here. So, Grid rising, 100% it is. Most people say yes so far. Probably 3 years, 100%. Yeah, retail sales data, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time today. The time frame is the decisive factor here. I think 5-year period memory names are probably, I mean, here's the thing, right? Memory names are almost certainly, I mean, look, I'm not an investment professional. Who freaking knows what's going to happen in markets and AI? But DRAM names, in my opinion, should be a great investment over the next 5 to 10. 5 years, you know, they're probably a good investment over the next 5. The only question mark is, like, if we do get some big catastrophic bear market / crash in AI stocks, which has kind of been the fear over the last few years, really. You know, we could have a situation where we're down relative to where we are today, if the 5-year period hits right in the middle of that. But outside of that, I think either way, they're going to rebound. They're going to be higher in the next 5 to 10. And so even if we do crash, somewhere in between is kind of my look at it. But again, let me know if you guys agree with me. That's kind of my look at it. Because it's down makes a good investment. SanDisk expects double-digit growth in 2030. I feel like this memory run will be a rug pull. The time frame was decisive, probably 3 years. Yeah, looking at our poll, most people agree. Yes, 72% saying yes, memory stocks are a good investment over the next 5 years. 28% say no. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. SpaceX, again, still on its bounce back at 140s. Very volatile, though. SpaceX next 5 years will be huge. The strait is essentially closed. Yeah, the insurers are the ones. They don't want to insure tankers going through right now. It's too risky in their minds. Does retail sales move markets is another question today. We do have retail sales in about an hour. I didn't have any soaps. I don't know what that is, Sublime. I had wax. I don't know about soaps. I'm assuming, just using my, context. Using the context here, I'm assuming soaps had some type of waxy bottom that allowed you to grind on things with shoes. The problem is they don't keep rolling when you're off the rail, right? So you get off the rail, they don't keep rolling. You got a lot of forward momentum there. That seems risky. Oh, they had a grind bar in the middle. That was like a PVC. Interesting. Yeah, I skated for a long time, dude. I still, love skateboarding. I still watch skateboarding videos. I saw Chris Jocelyn nail El Toro, finally, after he basically did what his trucks broke years ago. I did see that. But yeah, what do you think about gold today, guys? Dare I say buy or sell gold over the next 3 years? I'm going to shorten the time frame on gold because I think long-term gold's going to be fine. But short-term, who freaking knows? Is gold a buy or sell over the next 3 years? The question marks regarding gold right now are going to be, what does the Fed do this year and next year in regards to interest rates? A lot of people think we're in kind of a Goldilocks situation in which the Fed can pause, where the labor market's not that weak, even though we had 1 week labor report. Inflation's starting to settle, even though we have high oil inflation. But I think the argument, again, is like, if we get... Would a rate hike really do anything to oil-driven inflation anyway? Would raising rates do what we want it to do with oil-driven inflation? A lot of the time, again, the Federal Reserve has to raise interest rates to combat inflation, right? When you raise interest rates, it kind of pushes the overheating economy down a little bit. And because of that, inflation starts to settle, right? But that's assuming that the inflation is driven by, the economy. And right now, inflation is driven by oil. And so it's a different thing causing the inflation that we're seeing right now. It still will do something, but will it do enough to really make it justifiable is the question. And I don't know. Yeah, that's what I was worried about asking that question, Exotic. Is about I don't want them to show up and be like, did somebody say gold? What? It's like Britain food. Quantum computers are coming. They're still a ways out, though. 10 years, yeah. Yeah, look at SpaceX jump a little bit. I don't know why this just happened. But SpaceX jumped. Oil's completely flat on the day. But it looks like SpaceX had some type of catalyst come out. I'm not sure what it was, but SpaceX just jumped up with volume a few minutes ago. Again, I don't know why this happened, but let's see. Let's see if we can find this. I don't see any news getting posted here. This happened, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 minutes ago. Regarding SpaceX. Later, I'm sure someone's going to keep asking buy or sell. Thank you for abbreviating it. FOMO chasers on SpaceX. Did he make a speech? Okay. Sell from now on. Soon I'll be on fries, then the grill, and pretty soon I'll be assistant manager, and that's when the big bucks start rolling in. Is this fast times at Ridgemont High? I don't know where that. I don't know if that's a quote, but quantum computers are coming. S&P just broke the recent high up here, really the high of the session, 78.30s for the S&P. So the S&P is still pushing up this morning. Memory 5 years likely, 10 years probably not. Car washes, dispensaries, and storage. Yeah, dude, I went to Michigan, bro, and like it was shocking how many poster boards were up regarding dispensaries. Like everywhere I would look in Michigan, dude, everywhere I would look, it would be like, this dispensary herb, nugs. You know what I mean? Like everywhere I look, there'd be a poster board regarding dispensaries. Even in Indiana, where it's not legal, it would be like you would see a big poster board, and it'd be like in 2 miles. Outside of Indiana. I'm surprised Indiana even let them put those boards up. It was funny. The names were hilarious too. Yeah. Bitcoin to 64,000. Yeah, let's take a look at Bitcoin here today. Bitcoin. Oh wait, I messed up something. Oh, I didn't delete the S&P. Here's Bitcoin. Bitcoin at 62, still looking kind of weak. I think Bitcoin needs to hold 50K or 60K. short term, just in terms of sentiment. Near me dispensaries are right next to McDonald's. Oh, that's strategic for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it was just, my wife and I would laugh when we drive by because it would just be so many of them, you know. So we're going to trade today a little bit. I do want to trade some today. Let's see what we get this morning, but let's trade some today. We got retail sales data in 40 minutes. I have a hard time shorting right now, though. Like, here's the NASDAQ. I really do have a hard time shorting right now. I mean, memory names are so strong. If they continue to rebound, you know, I don't want to get stuck in some of that drop. I have an $800 Ninja Trader account. Would you recommend that I try not to lose it? I mean, yes. Is there another answer besides yes? Could I say no? Like, no, do not try not to lose it? Like, basically try to lose that account? Why would I say that? I don't understand that question, sir. But let me ask the chat. Listen, this guy's got an $800 Ninja Trader account. Do you guys recommend he tries not to lose it? Guys, that's the you know, the heart of the question today. Should he try not to lose his account? Let us know. Question of the day. Hey, what's up, Vegas? Dow Jones. Yeah, the chat did disappoint. I like you guys. Did I misread the question? I might be dumb here. Let me see. Hold on. Let me read this question again. I have an $800 Ninja Trader account. What would you recommend that I trade to not lose the account? I'm an idiot, guys. I'm sorry. Cook, you're right. I'm wrong. You're smart. I'm dumb. I am dumb, guys, apparently. I missed one word, and it was a crucial word in this question. It was an absolutely crucial word. It was, what would you recommend that I trade to not lose the account? I would trade I would trade micros. Really, I would, if you're brand new and it's $800, I would trade like the micro S&P, personally. Don't trade gold. Gold moves a lot very quickly. Oil can be volatile from catalysts. I would trade one or two micro contracts of the NASDAQ or the S&P. The NASDAQ can move a lot, though, but with micros, one or two, you're still probably, you know, good. But again, not an investment professional. Yeah. If you love something, set it free. Maybe the $800 will come back. I do have to wake up. It's my fault, Lee. You know. I missed one word again. It was a crucial word to miss. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. It's my fault. It's my fault. The S&P is actually starting to pull back a little bit, though. Look at the S&P here. Speaking of the S&P. But still in a range. I have a hard time trading the S&P until market open. It just doesn't move a lot. It's really rangy. I think maybe you could scalp some of the ranges here in the S&P. But, nah, you're good, Cook. Trade Russell, less margin. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Gold review. We can look at gold again. Gold at 4,400s here. I think a crucial level for gold that has held as a lot of resistance is 4,500s right here. You can see it went up to this level 3 different times recently and couldn't really hold over it. So I think $4,500 is the level I'm watching for gold. I think it's a crucial level. If we break and hold over that, maybe we get more runs. But we could also just cleanly act as resistance here for gold. So 4,500 is the level I'm watching on the upside. On the bottom side, you could probably watch 44s, 43s. Seems to find some support at 43s. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at on gold. 4,500 is the level that's staring at everybody here with gold. And it's been trying to get over that, and it hasn't yet. It's still up a lot on lower interest rate sentiment. But yeah. Crypto's looking more enticing. NASDAQ's bigger. I don't see any news on SpaceX necessarily here. When I check news, I just don't see much. Goldman Sachs rates its 12-month price target for the stocks Europe 600 to 695 from 660s. Well, see if retail sales data actually moves markets, though. Crypto is looking more enticing as stocks hit all-time highs and crypto is 50% down. I mean, if you think the 4-year cycle is legit, yeah, I mean, maybe it is time to buy Bitcoin. If you think the 4-year cycle is legit, though, is the question. Is it legit? I don't know. Y'all can answer that, but it depends. Bitcoin has gone below its balance price in every bear market since its existence. When is quantitative tightening likely? I don't know. The Iran conflict would have to subside, in my opinion, before we QE it. But I don't know. When do you guys think we do QE? I think that's a good question. Again, quantitative easing is when the Fed expands their balance sheet through asset purchases. They do this generally to stimulate a struggling economy. It's usually a more desperate move, but eventually it's going to happen. But it can cause more inflation, right? So I don't think they're going to do it under the Iran conflict. I think that's a huge, block to quantitative easing right now is, the inflation that we're already seeing. And so if they start to do QE, I think it's going to create a two-headed dragon, so to speak, in regards to inflation. And so I don't know. But when do you guys think we should do quantitative easing? I think whenever this conflict ends, maybe, but 2028. For NASDAQ, S&P just multiplied times 10. Yeah, I mean, the micro is 10 times the size smaller. It's 10x smaller than the E-mini S&P or E-mini NASDAQ. Hey, what's up, Jay Violet? How you doing over there in Australia? Hope you're doing good. And I'm looking at news. It's been a little light geopolitically in news. We did have some stuff go on. We had Bassett speak yesterday regarding Iran. But news has been a little light, a little slow. How you doing, Mr. Top 3? I'm doing all right. It's Friday. I'm ready for the weekend, dude. My kids started school this week, bro, so I'm just ready for the weekend. Target hit 52-week high yesterday. Do you think Nike can perform like Target over the next year? I don't know about the next year. I am in Target, and I love to see this move. My average price in Target is $86. I love to see 150s. And so now regarding Nike, though, I mean, Target's more diversified in that regard, right? Like Nike, I've said it once and I say it again, and I'm not trying to like crap all over my Nike trade, but Nike is much more trend driven than Target. Target sells a lot of different things. Nike is basically just shoes and apparel. And so with that, it's going to be a lot more based off of trends, different generations like different things. There's always risks in fashion in that regard. But I mean, generally I still like Nike long term. Nike has kind of been the alpha shoe, but you do see some other smaller brands like New Balance. You see some other companies start to take market share away from Nike, but I still think Nike is going to be fine long term. I think the shoe market is reliant on Nike, and I think that's a big market, and I think young people are really interested in that market as well. At least they have been over the last like 10 or 15 years, much more so than they were, but we might see some of that settling. I'll probably off this weekend so I can cut weeds since I have no grass in the desert. The banks and institutions will not let the 4-year cycle break. Far too profitable for them. Do you like trading futures on TOS? No, I trade futures on Trade-Evate. Yeah, I'm usually Trade-Evate in that way. I would love to trade them on TOS, but prop firms don't have TOS available. TOS is Schwab. But does gold break 4,500 today, guys? What do y'all think? Gold is still rallying up this morning, though. It's at 44.20, so gold has basically gone straight up over the last, like, hour. Nike is out. Bought at 7, now 12. IPO 2 weeks ago. Oil started to jump a little bit, but again, we don't really have any news. Let me see. Michael Saylor reposted MicroStrategy saying digital assets are assets. Index providers should measure markets, not decide which asset companies are allowed to run. MSCI's proposal puts it out of step with regulators, markets, and its own customers. Bitcoin doesn't need SMCI. Neither does strategy. Smaller brand gets traction because they offer equity stake to players they endorse, while Nike puts you on the payroll, so to speak. Yet every player hopes for a Nike deal at some point. Yeah, I mean, Nike might do good. I mean, you could also argue, somebody said Nike might do good closer to Christmas. You could also argue it should do good back to school, right? Like back to school, summer's over, back to school now. What do you kids need when they start school again? They need Nike, they need shoes. Surging. All right. Banks and institutions love long-term trends since they won't let the 4-year cycle break. No 4,500 breakout today. The real run in gold will start when rate cuts. Rate cut hold odds reach 75% or higher. I don't know, man. They're getting pretty close. We looked at the rate odds today already. We're at about 70% right now. And so, I mean, gold obviously benefiting from this. Gold is rate sensitive. I've given this correlation many times before in the stream, but gold wants lower interest rates because lower yields go down with lower interest rate sentiment. And as yields fall, less people buy bonds because yields are down. Bonds aren't paying out as much. And so gold has been stuck to that dynamic for a while now. It's not completely stuck to that dynamic. Like there's still other things that can boost gold even with higher yields, but yeah, I don't know. We're at 70% likely that we're going to pause this next meeting. We have retail sales report coming out at 8:30 today. But yeah, there's gold running up. Here's the NASDAQ running up. We did break the Asian session high here. We got up to 30,280, and then we pulled back immediately from it in the NASDAQ with a red candle here. It's not a small red candle either necessarily. I mean, it's about 20 points, so it's small. The word small is relative, but we are pulling back a little bit on the NASDAQ right now. Again, news is pretty light today. I think gold wants the conflict to end and it'll rocket back up. Yeah, I mean, gold just wants lower yields, and that has to do with the conflict, right? So, like, lower yields is, you know, what gold's reacting to. That's why gold's up so much this week, is because CPI came in flat, PPI came in cooler, rate hike odds went down. So... surging. Bullish or bearish today? I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm bullish here. I mean, I think we could correct back down, but what do you guys think? Are we bull or bear today? Bull or bear? Somebody doesn't like this question. I forgot who it was, but are we bullish or bearish today, guys? What do you guys think? Also, lurkers, show yourself. Unite. I see the Pentagon announces a Boeing and RTX deal on missile interceptors, agreement to boost production of these components. What's up, Coach Cleats? Lurkers? Yeah, unite. Bear. Yo, what's up, good day? Lurkin, what's up, get busy, Drizzy? Software as a service stocks rallied yesterday because Workday was bought out. I'm traveling from Amsterdam. What's up, sir? Hey, what's up, Homeworks? As the King Lurker. Who's the King Lurker, guys? Y'all give me an argument here. We'll talk about it. I'll designate one of you guys King Lurker. But it's hard to do that because if you're in chat, you might not be lurking, you know? We're here. Hey, what's up, guys? Bull is possible. Why not boomers? I like boomers. You know? I like the Dow. Brit's the King Lurker. Bro, I know Brit, dude. If he's not getting up to do this stream, he's sleeping right now, dude. He actually might not be sleeping. Brit sleeps weird hours. He's a night owl. What's up, Faye? How you doing? We should get used to the conflict. I mean, even if we want to pull out, Iran wants it to go into the next election. Poll. Yeah, we did a poll this morning, guys. And again, participate in the poll. Are memory stocks a good investment over the next 5 years? I almost want to buy this dip here in the NASDAQ, but if we do, it's small. I think we made money yesterday. Didn't we make money yesterday? Let me look. Yeah, we made money yesterday. Not a lot of money, but we made money. Should I buy this pullback here? It's not really. I wouldn't mind buying like 230s in the NASDAQ. Hey, what's up, Sailing Adventures? Michael Burry is the king lurker. I head out to hit a... Elliott wave theory is best. Yeah, for sure. I like the Elliott wave theory. That's lurky, bro. I'm the lurkingest lurker to ever lurk. How many lurkers could lurk if lurkers could lurk? Is the question. Again, we got retail sales data coming live in 20 minutes. Wait for 9:30 open to buy in it. You buy now is a waste of energy and attention. You've got to be British. You said in it. That's definitely a British thing, no? In it? I got AI to make me a Magic 8 Ball app. It's scary accurate. Hello, and I hit like. I'm going back to lurking. It's all good, Ski Bomb. Thank you, brother. John bullied Brit 5 times a week in middle school and high school. Nah, dude. I was never a bully per se, you know. I might mess with my friends a little bit, but it's not me. It's not mean. It's not cruel natured. Hey, what's up? How to cook a biscuit? Good morning. Yeah, I think Lucid has what's the discount on Lucid right now? It's like 30%, if I remember correctly. Like 30 or something like that. Let me see. Yeah, I think right now the discount is 30%, no? It's like 30% maybe. Laugh song, dude. I don't even know where that laugh song is. It's somewhere. By Redwire, Sandisk is strong. Memory names are up today for sure. I should have bought that dip real quick here though. But look at Sandisk. I mean, it's up big. MU's up big. Again, if you just now tuned in here, we'll go ahead and talk about this again. MU just bounced a little bit. But the big story is that OpenAI revenue run rate topped $40 billion. They're still competing with Anthropic. So again, OpenAI's annual revenue run rate is over 40 billion right now, doubling its pace from late last year as the AI company builds momentum ahead of its IPO sometime soon. Yesterday, Bloomberg reported this. It kind of validates demand for subscription services and more. But yeah, they're competing with Anthropic, and this is ultimately helping a lot of the AI-driven names here today. AMAT also reported earnings yesterday. It's down like 10% this morning. Cisco down Wednesday. Cerebrus down Thursday. And so we have some complacency in markets. If we look at the VIX, the VIX is under $15. So the VIX is low. Less geopolitical tensions, but there's still some stuff going on. Again, this is after non-farm payrolls were weak. CPI was flat. PPI was cool. So a lot of dovish signs this week and Friday last week here. But again, the VIX is under 15s. So I don't know why my phone's beeping, but the VIX is under 15s. Rate hike odds have gone down substantially. They're now about 30% likely that we are going to raise rates next meeting, which was like 40-something, 50-something at some points in time. And as I say this, look at the NASDAQ fall here today. I'll buy maybe 240s. I don't hate 250s. Is this a news candle, though? Look at these two candles showing up. Maybe not. It could just be a normal pullback here. I don't think this is necessarily news driven, but look at the red showing up. I mean, I'll buy this. I'm worried it's news, though. I don't hate a dip right here. I've been talking about the 200 exponential, but we'll take 6 contracts here, maybe. If it is news, though, I might be in trouble, but we'll take 6 contracts. See if we bounce at the 200 exponential. Let's see. Is oil jumping up simultaneously? That's something I should have checked. Not really. I feel like a bear day, then bullish through the week. I don't know. Yeah, we're in some shares here, or some contracts here in futures on the NASDAQ. I want to see if 200 exponential holds. There's 240. I'm not going to add any more to this. I think I'm just going to sit tight right now. But, here's the 200 EMA right around 240. I don't want to add to this, though. I'm not going to. I made money yesterday. So we have some room, but I'm not going to add too much to this. I just don't want this to be a news-driven. The last 3 minutes we have started to drop pretty quickly here. So, hey, what's up, Mo? How you doing, dude? Oh, my gosh, bro. Yep, there's some news. I'm out. Damn, dude. There's always some freaking news, bro. I kind of knew this already, dude. Like, this is definitely news-driven. Look at that freaking downwick candle, dude. What the hell happened, bro? Oil just spiked. The NASDAQ dumped here. All I can do is laugh about it. Damn, dude. Freaking news, bro. It's hard to trade in pre-market. I might stop trading, you know, this pre-market session. The problem is it didn't even stay down here. Like, this is definitely news, though. Oil jumped up simultaneously. I don't know what the news is. Bear with me. Yeah, that's what happened. The hidden candle. Y'all can laugh at me. That's fine. I kind of told you guys it could happen. You don't freaking love to see it here. You don't love to see it. I don't like this. It's definitely news driven. But damn, dude. These freaking jerks, bro. And I don't even see any news. That's a weird ass candle. And then the issue is that it came right back higher. What the hell is up with that candle, bro? All right, the Hezbollah chief is supposed to deliver a speech at 11:30 Eastern time. What a weird candle. I don't see any news here either. It was definitely something, though. Again, look at the S&P, look at the NASDAQ. They both did the same thing at exactly the same time, and oil jumped up simultaneously. So either some insiders are playing with things, or, yeah, like, look. Right at the same time, oil jumped up to 82s, and then it came all the way back down here. Let me see memory names. Now we got to come back from a loss today. That sucks. I don't know what that candle was, though, still. And I don't see any news coming out. They're playing with us this morning here. No news either. What a weird market. Oh, was it a tweet? Don't lie to me. I mean, Besant said to Newsmax that the U.S. is going to hit Iran with unprecedented economic isolation. We already covered this earlier this morning, though. We covered this like a few hours ago. Or not a few hours ago. A few minutes ago, we covered this already. No, today is not Witching Day. Witching Day happens only 4 times a year on the 3rd Friday of March, June, September, and December. So it's not in August. Doesn't take much nowadays. Next week is not Witching either. Again, it's Witching Day is on the 3rd Friday of March, June, September, and December. It's not in August. Still nothing really coming through the tape. Hey, thank you, Lee. I appreciate the sub. Thank you. You make me feel better after that loss. But honestly, dude, there's no news. Does anybody know why the market just did this to me? There's got to be a reason for this, no? I mean, is it the president retweeting what Besant said hours ago? Again, just to kind of reiterate this, right? So, we talked about this earlier. But this is old news. This is old news. But again, just to kind of show you guys what was said here. Let's go back. Let me find it. earlier, again, Bessent said they will implement unprecedented measures against Iran. This was at 4 a.m. this morning. All right, this was like 3 hours ago. Again, Bessent said they will implement unprecedented measures on Iran and are conducting a maximum pressure campaign against them. The UK MTO said a tanker was struck by a drone while transiting outbound through the Strait of Hormuz. It comes after UAE's ADNOC saying two of its vessels were attacked yesterday. It could be a tweet. And it could be algorithms reacting to a tweet because algorithms are dumb. Whoever did this, I don't like you right now. Algorithms, bots, AI, Trump tweet, whomever it was. You know, I'm not happy about that at all. How could they do this to me, chat? You know, how could they do this to me? Yeah, I mean, green light, realistically, that's probably what it was. He said maybe a quick candlewick liquidity grab. 100%. But they're plotting against my favorite indicator, bro. They do it at the 200 exponential. Again, it did line up, like, realistically, if we're looking at why this happened. 5 minutes ago, which is right around when this happened. Trump retweeted an article about Bessent to Newsmax talking about, you know, what we just talked about. And so, realistically, I think that's what this was. Maybe algorithms on Truth are just picking this up quick and then reacting to it, even though it's 3-hour-old news. Yeah, I lost like 350 just now. It's all right. We made that yesterday, I think. What did we make yesterday? Or no, we did not make that yesterday. Yesterday, we made like $100. Basically a flat day. This week, we're actually down. Last week, we made money, though. And if you look at last month, I mean, last month was a great month. Last month, we made like 6,000, you know, or so in this account. So, like, we've got the room, but I'm still not freaking happy about it. Like, this is nonsense, guys. You want to make me feel better, you know? Check out Lucid today. You want to make me feel better? Check out Lucid. If you want to make me feel better, use my coupon code boot. If you want to make me feel better, Lucid Trading has a lot of great stuff. Lucid has end-of-day drawdown options and everything. 10-to-1 micro-scaling allowed. End-of-day drawdowns, 90-10 split. No payout windows. They paid out over $400 million to trader. Over 350,000 use Lucid. Very quick payout time. They processed the payout for me in 1 minute on Lucid. And I still think Lucid Flex is the single best account to get funded in. Wait, let me get out of this here real quick. Funded rules. No activation fee. 1 day to pass. Payouts to live is only 5 in Lucid Pro. Lucid Flex, I think, is the best one here. And if you want to check them out, Lucid Daily. No activation fee. Daily payouts, no consistency rule and funded. So I still think some of those are some of the best rules. Here's the NASDAQ pushing high. I've been trading on Apex accounts more just after all those big sales they have. But, again, if you want to check them out, it's a great way to help support the channel. You can use my code BGT at checkout, get the biggest discount. Here's the link. Check them out. Great way to help support the channel. I don't know if it's 40%. I think it's 30%. Hey. I love you.
Love you.
Have a good day. Yeah, I'm not very... How much am I down on this trade? I am down 295. I thought I was down more than that, actually. But I'm only down... I'm less than $300 down. So there's still a chance we come back here today. You're not alone? I have zero luck playing around before the open anymore. Nano contracts. Dude, I don't know if I'm going to do nano contracts, dude. I mean, nano contract seems a little bit overkill, no? In terms of small size. Like, you buy one micro contract, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, we have retail sales data 8 minutes here, chat. 8 minutes for retail sales data. 7 minutes. Are y'all bullish or bearish on retail sales data? It does come out soon. Yeah, I saw that news earlier, Steve. I didn't buy at the high of the session. I bought a pullback at the 200 exponential at like 240s, bro. And then some news came out and negatively impacted my positions. Y'all can make fun of me. That's all right. Like, I'll make fun of myself more than everybody. So it's all good. I believe I'm going to be green on the day now. Yeah, good thing I wasn't trading mini contracts for sure. It would have been worse. It looks shortish now under the 200 EMA, but we have retail sales data in 6.5 minutes, so I don't want to push it. Anyone who trades here has done it 100%, yeah. Have you been beaten up by news, chat? Martingale system and up? I say bullish people spend a lot of money during the summer, in my opinion. Yeah, we have retail sales data coming out live soon. We'll see what that does to markets. I'm curious to see what it does with gold. Higher retail sales data should negatively impact gold. Oil's still dropping, though. Oil's at 81.80s right now. Why is gold ripping? I mean, gold's been flying all morning. Just lower interest rate sentiment, lower rate hike sentiment. So... yeah, and I'm not really that mad. Like, honestly, it's good content. Y'all can make fun of me. It's good content, to be honest. So, I'm not mad, is what I'm saying. Oh, dude, Skip Bertman passed away, dude. Rest in peace to Skip Bertman. Says, we mourn today the passing of LSU legend Skip Bertman, the greatest coach in college baseball history. Rest in peace to Skip. Dang, dude, Skip Bertman passed away. That sucks. I grew up watching LSU baseball on him, man. That sucks. Rest in peace to Skip. Yeah, go Tigers, Joe. All right, here we go, guys. We got less than 5 minutes until retail sales data comes out. Less than 5 minutes. Proud of you for giving up vaping as I vape this morning. Come on now. You know. That hurts a little bit, Shake and Bake. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, you're really proud of me for giving up vaping. You know, yeah, it was something I needed to do. You know. Yeah, I should have used a stop loss for sure, Fawn. 100%, dude. I don't know. I was complacent. We had easing geopolitical news. All right, here we go, guys. 4 minutes. 4 minutes until retail sales data drops. Higher or lower retail sales, guys? What do you guys think? 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. If you're still vaping, why do you still have the beard? Because I said I would give it up last week. You know, we're back. Lower. Yeah, here we go. All right, retail sales data, 3 minutes. I don't know how much it's going to move markets. We'll watch the NASDAQ and we'll put gold up as well simultaneously. But higher should negatively impact gold and maybe the NASDAQ for retail sales. But here's gold. We could also watch the dollar index. I think that would be a valid watch today ahead of retail sales. Lower, lower, higher. Yeah, I don't think it's 0.5 expected here. You're actually right, but I think it's too close to the actual giveaway here. It's 0.2. What is it expected for retail sales today? Retail sales today are expected at 0.1%, 0.2% of the month, 0.3%. So my timer is just wrong. I'm sorry. AI, dude. Blame Claude. He did it, not me. NASDAQ jumping up a little bit ahead of this report. We'll see what retail sales do. We have 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. Magic 8 Ball says gold is going to go up after the announcement. Yeah, again, retail sales report. It's not the biggest moving report. Yeah, markets are recirculating that news article about Bassett to say the U.S. is going to hit Iran with unprecedented economic isolation. But we have gold. We have the NASDAQ up. Gold's been on a run this morning. NASDAQ's starting to get back over the 200 EMA. Oh, I'm blaming Claude. All right, guys, we got a minute and a half left. A minute and a half left. I don't care about the reading. The market is going to dump. That's my analysis. Hey, good luck, friend. Here we go. We got a minute and 20 seconds left. NASDAQ's starting to rally a little bit here, though. Look at the NASDAQ. Gold starting to head up. Let's see what retail sales show. S&P just bounced right at the previous closing price. We have 1 minute left now. Market always rallies at tiny negative 0.05 dips. All right, here we go, guys. 40 seconds. 40 seconds until retail sales. I don't know if this is really going to impact things, but we'll see. Yeah, NASDAQ's over 30,000. It's at 30,250, at least in Q futures. I think that, yeah, the NASDAQ is as well. But here we go. We got 20 seconds left. Really about 20 right now. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're in 2x speed. We'll see if this moves anything. Claude says 0% month over month. I don't know if this is really going to impact markets. It might. It depends on what the numbers show, of course, but it could. Here we go. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here's the report. All right, guys. So retail sales just showed up at negative 0.6%. Negative 0.6% for retail sales data. Negative 0.6 versus 0.1% gain expected. I think this might honestly make markets go up, but negative 0.6% for retail sales. Core retail sales came in at negative 0.3%. This might confirm dovishness in the Fed and make markets actually rally a little bit more here. So I think markets might actually head up on this report. And yeah, look at them run. So negative 0.6% for retail sales data today. Negative 0.6%. And the S&P and the NASDAQ have gone up. Gold has gone up somewhat from this report. But negative 0.6%. Which again is another dovish sign in markets here today. Negative 0.6. NASDAQ so far has reacted positively to this report. So the NASDAQ has gone up negative 0.6%, much lower than expected. The S&P is really rallying on this. Look at the S&P here. Gold's going up as well. Not really rallying, but we're up some. Retail sales did move markets here, just on more cooling potential. Let's see what yields are doing on this report. But retail sales, negative 0.6% for headline retail sales, negative 0.3% for core retail sales. And again, 2-year treasuries are dumping down on this report. Another cooling report for markets here. Here's 4.1% for retail sales. You can see what they're doing now. And yields are falling on this report. This should be honestly a win for gold. Gold should be rallying up. The dollar index should be falling here. Here's gold. Yeah, gold's rallying up. Here's the Dixie. The Dixie is falling. Yields are down. The dollar index is falling 99.5 for the dollar index. Gold is up to the highs of the day at 44.40s. The NASDAQ is rebounding close to the high of the session on the NQ. So we're getting up there. Oil is falling down to 81.5s, but retail sales showed more cooling than expected. Again, year over year, 5.01%. Previous was 6.72%. Core negative 0.3%. They expected a gain of 0.2%. Headline negative 0.6%. They expected a gain of 0.2% as well. And so this should make markets rally, like I said, because this is more dovish news. My long did get robbed, dude, really, but that's okay. It's my fault. S&P 8K by the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, the algorithms are certainly affecting this for sure. just based off of like the initial reaction. But again, what's making markets go up right now is lower rate hike odds. Lower rate hike odds. And with retail sales cooling as much as they did, this is going to bring yields down, obviously. You look at 2-year yields, again, yields down to 4.1% for 2-year treasury yields, which, you know, more closely mimics what the Fed is going to do. So retail sales are down. If we look at the Fed watch tool, I'm sure the odds are changing. We might be over 70% in terms of rate sentiment now on retail sales data. So again, retail sales cooling, it honestly affected the market a lot more than I thought it would, but that's probably because it showed up at so deeply negative here for retail sales. NASDAQ is now at the highs of the session. Gold is still pushing up. Dollar index and yields are now falling on this report, 99.5s. So, yeah, we got Michigan consumer sentiment today for sure. So now bad news is good news. Yeah, I mean, in an inflation-fearing market, bad news is good news, and so to speak, in terms of convention. Conventionally, I mean, stronger economics is good, but right now when rate hike odds are on the table and oil is high and inflation is high, it's kind of the opposite right now. Anything that shows a cooling economy is going to be seen as a win. It's one of the reasons we reacted positively to a negative job print last Friday, is because right now markets fear economic growth to a certain extent because economic growth can be inflationary and the market does not want higher rates. Gold certainly doesn't want higher rates, but again, the NASDAQ is now at the high of the session here. Yeah, the whole world is falling apart, but lower rate hike odds are the reason. I mean, that's the reason. That's the reason we're reacting positively to this. Doesn't mean anything, but yeah. Market wants lower interest rates. They want lower inflation. They want lower rate hikes. They want less rate hike fears. So super weak retail sales is a win for rate hike odds going down. Again, the dollar index yields are down. Honestly, yields are reacting a lot to retail sales. They bounced back a little bit, but look at yields. Yields have fallen here on this report. So, bro, what is up with my banner here at the bottom of the freaking screen? Claude, what are you doing, bro? About to fire Claude, you know? There we go. But yeah, retail sales lower than expected, 0.3% negative versus 0.2% positive expected here. I'll put this up on the screen right now. But lower retail sales data making markets more optimistic here and regarding rates. Although we do see the dollar index start to pop back up a little bit here. But markets did react a decent amount to this. So retail sales, again, negative 0.6% for retail sales data. That's what's helping things right now. Here's retail sales data. We'll put them up on screen. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's retail sales data on the screen. Markets are reacting well to this, but the dollar index is starting to slowly come back some. So maybe we could get a first move as the wrong move dynamic here. I'm smelling a bunch of revisions next month. I don't know about retail sales. I don't usually revise those super heavily here. Did you ever consider getting a Bloomberg terminal subscription? Who says I don't have one already? But again, whatever it was didn't really impact the wires that much. What really it was is the Truth Social post that algorithms picked up. Yeah, oil's down to 81.30s here. It's not a new low. I mean, it's still high on the day. It's still up on the day. Not a lot, but it's still technically green on the day for oil. Gold is starting to dip back down some here, though. Look at gold. I'm still watching that $4,500 level on gold here, to be honest. We have so many gap ups in August in the S&P E-mini chart that the chart is starting to look ridiculous. What's it, like 100K a week for Bloomberg Terminal? No, I think it's like 30K a year. I can't, you know, I'm not going to be specific, but it's, you know. I am kind of waiting to see if the Fed watch tool odds change a little bit. I mean, we went up slightly in odds for Paul's next meeting. Slightly. Bloomberg. Yeah, institutions might get better. Keegan. Broke all-time highs. Yeah, I mean, we ran up, but we're starting to dip down some. I don't know if the retail sales data is really going to prop us up like that. But, now we're starting to turn back down some here. Gold pulling back some from these high levels here, but Spacex to zero. I saw AMAT drop a lot overnight from earnings. It's down like 10%. Still down. It started to test the lows of the day here. Oil will keep that down. Yeah, oil's starting to rebound a little bit here. But again, the retail sales data showing up super cool. Did originally boost markets. It doesn't mean it's going to hold, though. But we're watching it now. See if it holds. Yeah, we're starting to go the other way. Britt's not here today. Is this a buy or sell on the NASDAQ right now? What do you guys think? Where's Paul? Jake Paul? He's probably out getting a haircut or a tattoo or something, you know. I think he's boxing Gandalf right now. Sell, sell, buy, buy, sell, sell. Well, that's pretty split. It's Friday, they'll buy it somewhere. Yeah, I mean, lower retail sales. I don't know if we're in a stagflation situation. I mean, stagflation can happen, but when they originally coined the term stagflation, like we were in a much higher spot for inflation and a much weaker spot for economics here. So a lot of economists think we're actually in a much more sweet spot, Goldilocks situation regarding the labor market and inflation. I mean, obviously with $80-something a barrel oil, I don't necessarily agree, but I think I don't necessarily think we're in a stagflation situation. You know, not next week, but the week after we get GDP data and then we get PCE inflation. So we'll see what those look like. But, you know, we're in a situation where we do have some inflation and we do have some weakness in the economy. But I don't necessarily think we can call it stagflation yet. I don't necessarily think it's anywhere near weak enough to justify that term right now. But, you know, it's subjective. The dollar's losing value. Well, the dollar's going down because yields are going down. Yields are going down because retail sales were weak. The dollar index honestly started to react, like it rebounded back up here though. So the Dixie is back up some here. Again, Treasury. July retail sales unexpectedly declined, coming in well below economists' expectations. Yields fell. It reduces expectations for a rate hike, and I think that's a win right now in markets. But again, it's a hard market to bet on because memory still running, oil still pretty elevated, and we're close to highs of the day here. Fingers crossed. I'm loaded up on silver. VIX wants to pop. I mean, the VIX is just going to pop if the market goes down. But memory names need to cool off a little bit if you want the VIX to go up. Still kind of quiet here. Yeah, it's a mixed market. There's a lot of back and forth contradictory things going on. Higher oil, lower rate hike odds. The Iran conflict does make it tricky, though. Retail sales are aligned with job loss. Made sure there's no buying power. Well, the dollar index generally goes down when yields fall. That's because in order to, if more people are buying bonds to capitalize on the higher yields, they have to use the U.S. dollar for it. So when yields go up, the dollar strengthens generally. As yields fall, the dollar index goes down generally, but it's not a perfect. It's based on a lot of other things. But that's one of the basic correlations you can look at. But again, it's just one of the reasons. Now we're pretty flat here in the Nasdaq. Bitcoin is down today. Yeah, I see Bitcoin is down to 62K or so. The Bitcoin is down. I think Bitcoin gained some optimism from the Clarity Act, and then when the Clarity Act didn't go through, now it's kind of coming back down some. It might continue to fall until October, which is not that far away. It just depends on how low it can get until then, if you believe the 4-year cycle. Yields were falling. They're starting to bounce back a little bit here. You know, they were falling. The original reaction was negative to yields, which makes sense. I mean, you know, but they've kind of come back up with the dollar. So retail sales just should have been negative 0.6%. Yields fell originally, but again, we're kind of in the middle. Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia. Hey, thank you, Johnny the Wizard. I appreciate the sub, my friend. Thank you, brother. Yeah, we had weak retail sales today already. I'm ready for the weekend, though, guys. I'm ready. I mean, we'll trade. We're trading today. We're here. But, it's been a long week. I stayed out late fishing with my son yesterday, too. I'm kind of mad. My son caught a bass, and all I caught was like, we caught like 10 fish. But my son caught the only bass, and I caught a bunch of perch. You know, you don't love to see it. I mean, I do kind of love to see it, but I'd like to catch a bass too. I spent half the time untangling my son's spin reel. So I mean, I'm blaming no bass on that, but. Freshwater pond. I'm in Texas. We're doing freshwater ponds over here. We caught some trout a few weeks ago in Florida. All right, guys. So markets are rebounding a little bit here. They're trying to get back up there. Yeah, I got into a situation. My son would tangle up his spin reel, and then as I'm untangling his, he would take mine and tangle it up. That's how it goes. It's all right. He enjoyed it. He caught some fish, so it's all good. No, I didn't see any gators in Florida. All right, dollar index coming back down. Nasdaq starting to push higher here. I did take a long right now. I'll show you guys too. I'm still down on the day though, but we took a long down here at these lows at 260s. I just want to see if we push up there to highs and we can hold this break even. Yeah, we just use worms and a bobber with the OG method. Oil down though. Oil's right at the previous closing price. I'll probably cut this break even. Maybe a little bit under break even. We just got stopped out on this, which is fine. Basically flat. Let me check news. I don't think it's news, but it could be. Again, we do have Michigan consumer sentiment today. We'll see how that impacts things. All right, so we do have a 100K Lucid eval here. I might just play with this morning since... We'll switch to our Lucid eval. See how this goes. Very choppy right now. Not a lot going on. Where's the trout in Florida, dude? It's Specs. We were by Orange Beach. I'm not gonna be too specific, but there's a lot of Specs. We use shrimp. Prices on stuff do get cheap. Yeah, I mean, a recession is one of the only situations where you'll see actually negative inflation. Like, most people consider inflation going down. They think prices go down. No, prices just slow in terms of how much they go up. It slows down. But a recession is one of the only situations in which we'll actually see literal price decreases. We actually saw some in some of the inflation reports that we got coming in negative last month. But usually that doesn't hold. Am I Cajun or what? Yeah, dude. My mother's Cajun French. My dad was British. I mean, not British. He's from, Louisiana. But my last name's London, so I gotta go with British. Nasdaq's getting back up there close to highs here. But again, we're kind of flat around these highs. I mean, I don't know if we have enough buying momentum to really boost things. We'll see, though. Heading into the opening bell, we'll see if we get some volatility. Again, traders did lower their bets on a bunch of rate hikes this year, so that's good. But we already saw that yesterday after the retail sales report. We don't say bobber, bro. Dude, I say bobber, dude. Get out of here. I mean, I don't say snow cone, okay? Like, I don't even know what a snow cone is. It's a snowball, all right? I don't know what a snow cone is, but I say bobber, all right? Don't judge me. I'm gonna go catch some crayfish, get a snow cone. And use a bobber. Nothing wrong with being British. Yeah, I feel like I represent, Britain right now. Bro, you're a snow cone. Hey, I take offense to that, dude. I don't even know what that is. No, I said snow cone around my family once, and I got so much heat for it. They were like, dude, what the hell is a snow cone, bro? Yeah, part of that joke was a Louisiana joke. Some people, Joe, you might have understood it if you're from Louisiana, like the joke I just made regarding crayfish, snow cones, and bobbers, but I don't think everybody else did. It's all right. It'll be our joke. Oil now technically red on the day, guys. So oil is now technically red on the day. It's at $81.18 for WTI futures. So it's now technically red on the day. Louisianians understand that joke. Everybody else doesn't, and that's all right. To be honest, John, you have an Irish look to you. Bro, I swear. I had a dream last night. And this is absolutely true. I had a dream last night. And in my dream, I looked in the mirror and I had red hair. I was a ginger in my dream. And like in my dream, I swear I had this dream last night. I had the realization, I was like, I'm a ginger, And then I woke up and I realized that it was just a nightmare. So that was my dream last night. Tell me what that means. All right, tell me what that means. Decipher it, guys. I'm all ears. But I'm honestly telling the truth. I genuinely had this dream last night. Oil back. Now, oil's back to green on the day here. Look, here's the dollar index. It's still moving sideways. The market's not giving me anything today, guys. So, like, you might be like, why is John talking about his dreams? It's because the NASDAQ over the last 30 minutes has done this. There's not really much I can do with this here. Dreams about being a redhead means your son will grow up to be a Cy Young one. Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah. If it's an early morning dream, it comes true. Yeah, instead of getting gray hair as I get older, my hair is just going to turn red. I don't know which one I would prefer, to be honest. I guess red. But, you know, the salt and pepper look can, you know. All right, guys. NASDAQ starting to creep up here. Let's see if we get some volatility and momentum today. But... all right, NASDAQ back up to highs of the day here. We're at 30,280s. And I got to stop trading right now. I'm just not finding anything I like. It looks a little bit too high up here to buy, and it looks a little bit too momentum heavy to short. So, yeah, 9 a.m. is going to be here in about 5 minutes. We'll see if we get any movement from the 9 a.m. scrum. But look at oil decreasing here. Not really any news to cause it. But, you know, retail sales showed up at negative 0.6% today, guys. Negative 0.6%. NASDAQ at highs. We're at 30,277s right now. Looks like a squeeze. Yeah, a little bit maybe. Yeah, VIX is under 15s. I mean, memory is running up. I mean, look at SanDisk. Look at MU today. Look at NVIDIA today, up to 226s here. So, semis are doing good. Memory's doing good this morning. AMAT had bad earnings. But lower rate hike odds is making markets optimistic. Gold's still pretty strong on the day as well. Still green. But I don't really know what to do here. It's too slow. Here's the 9 a.m. scrum in 3 minutes. Our weekend covers expires today. Hopefully market goes down and open or close. Yeah, I mean, it's Friday, so just be careful, y'all. We do have, again, Michigan consumer sentiment drops in about an hour. We'll see what that looks like. I don't know how much it's going to affect markets. You know, we've seen data in the University of Michigan that, you know, this is the prelim data for August, I believe, for consumer sentiment, 54.4. Last time was 55.2. So we've seen strong data in terms of consumer sentiment recently. Inflation expectations have been a little bit more cooling as well for the University of Michigan, but it's all going to depend on what the data actually shows. And markets consolidating right now around highs here. The VIX is broken. Again, here's 9 a.m. We're not in sub-only mode, guys, so I'm going to put it in sub-only mode. Does gold break 4,500s today? I asked this question before, but does gold break 4,500s? I think that's a big level staring at us. If we look at a longer-term chart for gold, $4,500 is act as resistance for multiple days now. Here, here, and here. So $4,500 right there. I think it's the level gold traders are watching right now on the upside. But it also depends, like a lot of the opening bell is going to depend on what memory names do, what MU, SanDisk, and more do. They've been moving markets a lot and leading markets in some ways, especially when you take the correlation with NVIDIA in there as well with semis. Yeah, there's 9 a.m. in a minute and a half. Pretty low participation. It's Friday, though. I mean, Friday markets can be a little bit more quiet. John is banned from buying gold. If John buys gold, it'll break 4,500. I believe that, Fred. Another question is, was Burry correct? Guys, is Burry correct? He's down on his MU position now. Somebody said he got an MU at 940s earlier, and I believe that's probably true. Or his average price in MU is now 940s. He'd be technically red on MU. He's definitely red on NVIDIA. Didn't he short NVIDIA like 190s? So Burry shorted NVIDIA around here. If he did that, he's still probably down on that one, obviously. Gold daily, several topping tails, bearish divergence. The VIX is just a dude sticking his finger in the wind. He said he will buy at 3,500. Who? I'd probably buy gold at 3,500 long term. Short term, I don't know what it's going to do. Here's the 9 a.m. scrum in 15 seconds, guys. Let's see if this moves anything. But here's 9 a.m. data coming out soon. So, all right, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's 9 o'clock. Here's 9 a.m. Heading down a little bit. The reason markets move at 9 a.m. is because brokers open up some at 9 a.m. He held too long waiting for another 809 or 0809. Yeah, I think Burry, he's a little bit too stubborn. Oil's starting to rise a little bit at 9 a.m. though. Look at oil. Markets are heading down. Here's oil right here. So oil's starting to rise a little bit at this point in time. NASDAQ at 30,260s. So oil is up a little bit at the 9 o'clock spot. NASDAQ starting to pull back a little bit, but we're still in a very tight range here. Yeah, I see oil is now technically green on the day again. Previous closing price on oil, WTI crude futures, 81.20s. It's almost 81.30s now. It jumped up a little bit at 9 o'clock, and markets mostly pulled back some here. If we look at memory, they're still around highs, though. We might just wait for 9:30 to see if we get some volatility. Stop giving Burry a platform. I mean, I'm just talking about market news, though. And Burry shorts are market news. A lot of people are talking about it. Trust me, Burry doesn't need me to give him a platform. He doesn't need old John at beginner trading. My influence is limited. Markets don't have to crash for Burry to make good money, just a small correction. Yeah, but we already got the correction, though. Do we correct more in memory? I don't know. We asked the chat earlier, are memory stocks a good investment over the next 5 years? Originally, we were at 70% plus. Now we have about 800 votes. 64% say yes. Memory stocks are a good investment over the next 5 years. So, again, let me know, guys. Do you guys think memory stocks are a good buy right here for the next 5 years? This market would be boring without bears. SanDisk CEO interview coming up on CNBC. Yes, yes. I give this bubble a year. Darkage, bro. Let me ask you a question. Weren't you super heavily short around the bottom of this latest memory pullback? I might be wrong, but weren't you? Am I wrong? Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong. I'm not saying you were, but I feel like I remember you being really aggressively short a couple weeks ago when we were at kind of the bottom of some of these levels here. Look at the NASDAQ jump here, though. So NASDAQ's jumping up, SanDisk moving up. Yeah, look at MU, guys. MU just jumped. SanDisk just jumped. MU just broke highs of the day, got up to 985s ahead of this. Not over 5 years. Memory is going to be oversold and the prices will crash. Yeah, MU just jumped up, broke highs. 985s right now. Memory rebounding some. Volume's coming in as well. $986 this year for MU. MU still pushing here. Look at MU right now, guys. 986s. No, they won't. Memory will always be in high demand. It's hard to be a bull trap. If it is, then this might be the best one this year. Yeah, I mean, things are looking more optimistic for sure. Especially in memory, obviously, but we can always turn the other way. I said it before. I think memory names are probably a good buy over the next 5 years, but it's not perfect. I think if we're in a situation in which we do have a big AI correction, even if memory names are going to be up over the next 10, if we get caught, in the midst of that correction at the end of the 5-year period, I mean, we could be down relative to where we are now. I still think long term we're going to be fine, but 5 years is still a little short-sighted here if we absolutely think memory is going to, do well. It could still be down over the next 5, but long term I still think it's going to be fine. This whole market is rumors. Bro, the whole market is always rumors, brother. It's all based off of psychology. It's not perfectly correlated with health in some of these assets. It has to do with sentiment. I think it's a bull trap, but memory will be good for more than 10 years, especially with the robotics. Yeah, 100%. That's what I agree. Yeah, I don't know what to do here. I mean, the NASDAQ has not given us a lot of good price action over the last hour. It's been very slow. We broke highs here for a second a minute ago, but look at us start to pull back some here. So my hands are kind of off trading this. There's not really much. Unless I'm going to buy the bottom and sell the top. I got to just wait. Microsoft was way overbought for a week. Microsoft was overbought because it's correlated with software, and software rallied a little bit back up from some of the low levels that it was at. So earnings as well affecting it. IBM is up. Like if you look at software names and you look at Microsoft, they're obviously correlated here. I mean, look, here's Microsoft, here's ServiceNow, here's IBM, other software names. Like a lot of them are doing very similar things. I mean, they're rebounding essentially since mid-July. So I think Microsoft will be fine long term. It's a little bit more diversified than pure software, but memory bottom was July 30th until 2028. SK Hynix is pretty strong on the day with the rest of memory. It's at 170s basically. MU is up. SanDisk is up. So the sooner you get used to the market being rigged, the easier it is to trade it. 100%. There's traps everywhere. When I see crash being pushed on social media, the opposite will happen. Yeah, especially the banks. If the banks are starting to talk about crashes and recessions and all these different things, I've said it once, I'll say it again. You got to watch what the banks do, not what they say. We had some big crashes over the last 5 years, and in the middle of those, really at the bottom of those, the banks would be like, oh, we're going to continue to see weakness. And then we'd start rebounding right where the bank said we were going to continue to see weakness. So it's kind of one of those situations where the banks will say what they got to say to benefit their positions, unfortunately. And you got to take what they say with a grain of salt. MU Sand is still pushing up here into the opening bell today. MU's at 987s almost. Banks fund the stocks would buy 100%. Yeah, they're looking to boost their positions. All right, so I'm seeing an article here that says Tesla plans new Roadster unveiling with a flying stunt as early as this month. Again, Tesla nears the unveiling of a radical new, quote, flying Roadster. And look at Tesla here on this news. So Tesla's jumping up on this news right now about them unveiling a new flying Roadster. Flying is in quotes. So, do we have flying cars? No. We would have heard something about it if we did, and, you know, nobody's getting into that anytime soon. Hey, later, Joe. Have a good day, brother. Tesla up on this news, though. Spacex bouncing a little bit as well. NASDAQ now dipping down some here. But we're still in this range. I'm watching this candle, though, in the NASDAQ. But the NASDAQ is pulling back some here. Yeah, there's the Tesla news. John, core retail sales and retail sales came in negative, so what does it mean? Can you explain? Yeah, I mean, it means more cooling. Less rate hike fears, more cooling, lower yields, lower dollar index is what it means. It basically confirms some of the data we got earlier this week with low PPI, flat CPI, weak jobs report last Friday. So it's essentially confirming a dovish stance in markets right now. And markets like that originally reacted positively to the retail sales report, but since then we've been kind of flat. But yeah, retail sales coming in weak, coming in negative versus positive expectations. It's just justifying some of the cooling, some of the, you know, dovish sentiment in markets, lower yields, lower dollar index. Tesla will meet competition. How about give us the Roadster that was Roadster released 6 years ago? This is TOS right here. I also use Tradeovate. Tesla's still down from its earnings report, though. The margins were really bad, and, you know, I think attention pivoted to SpaceX. Thank you, John, for the explanation. Also, can it be translated as about a possible rate cut? I mean, we're not getting a rate cut, I don't think. I mean, I think that would be irresponsible, and the optics don't look good for a rate cut whenever inflation's as high as it is, even if it's oil-driven inflation. So we're not getting a rate cut unless... The only way we'd see a rate cut this year is if, like, GDP showed up shockingly weak, like negative. Job numbers continued to show weakness, and inflation was, like, way, way down, which at oil... with oil being at 81s a barrel, not low, inflation still being over 3%, like, we're not getting a rate cut this year. I don't think anybody really expects that. We might pause all year, but I don't think we're going to get a rate hike or a rate cut this year. I think that's just out the question as of now. I mean, we could have a situation in which we get a rate cut. It's just incredibly improbable. So that's how you have to look at it. Like, yeah, we could, but we need a lot of things to happen in a perfect, you know, in just the right way to get a cut, and I don't think we're going to get a cut. I think right now people are still mad at Wash for not hiking rates, and so a cut's out the question. We might pause all year. Why is it irresponsible when we have 40 trillion in debt with a massive debt service build? I feel like you're buying into the Fed's outdated nonsense. I'm not buying into it. I'm just talking about what the most likely scenario is. I think it has to do with the optics of it, the perception of things, you know. And I think when inflation's as high as it is, the Fed's not going to cut rates right now. I think they're going to pause. I just don't think we're going to cut anytime soon. NASDAQ at 30,000, still pulling back, but still in that range here. We're about 15 minutes until the open. Yeah, the most likely scenario, but I wouldn't call it irresponsible to cut. I would call it a smart move, but they are stuck in the 1970s. It's not that I mean, I think what I probably should have said is that it looks irresponsible. You know, you could argue the nuance of that, and that's fine. I just don't think the Fed's going to do it. I think inflation's up, oil's high. Middle East concerns. I think it's really hard to justify a cut and have broad agreement on a cut in the Federal Reserve if inflation's over 3%, oil's still elevated, trouble in the Middle East, and three members of the Fed dissented last time in favor of a hike. I just don't think we're, I think we're probably gonna pause. Yeah, it's the way a cut would look right now. The president just posted on social media, but it's nothing really market moving regarding somebody spray painting a World War II memorial. All right, NASDAQ down a little bit here, though. The NASDAQ's still falling here, but it's been a pretty quiet morning, all things considered here. There's not a lot going on. So... Again, if you want to help support the channel, check out Apex right now. If you want to learn to day trade, most day traders lose money. So if you fund your own account, thousands of dollars trying to day trade futures especially, you're probably going to lose it. Apex right now, if you buy a 5-pack bundle, you can get it for $75 for the 25K standard intraday account. That's $14.99 each if you use my code BGT at checkout. $14.99 each. If you buy one single, it's just $16.70 each. Very cheap accounts. If you want to learn, this is the right way. It's not the full risk of funding thousands into your own account, but it's also not just a base paper account. So they give you a demo, they test your skill, you pass the test, they fund you the same amount as the demo account. If you fail, you only lose, in this case, like $15 if you buy the 5-pack. And so it makes sense. There's no PDT rule. It's a great way to learn, and most day traders lose money. Taking it from somebody that lost thousands when he first got started, I wish I had this when I first got started. You can use code BGT to get the max discount on Lucid, on Apex, and all that good stuff. Here's the link. Check it out. Great way to help support the channel. We're at the 200 EMA now, but I bought the 200 exponential earlier and got beat up here, so I'm just going to sit tight. And of course, watch it probably bounce at the 200 EMA right now. Memory's starting to dip down. MU is at the 200 exponential and the volume weighted average price right now as well. So we'll see, but... And look, here's a little bounce here at the 200 EMA on a 1-minute chart. Again, I got to wait now. Haven't had good results day trading this morning, and that's all right because it's been a pretty good couple months. But I don't want to give a lot of profit back. I'll wait for the open, I think. Hey, what's up, Tidy? Good morning. Hope you're doing good. Are we bull or bearish on the open? I really have no idea. I mean, I think we're kind of flat right now, but we're at highs in most names. Memory's still doing strong in the day. The S&P's around all-time highs. So, I mean, things are looking bullish ahead of the opening bell, but sometimes we fill the gap. It's not uncommon to see us fill the gap. Like in this case, here's the previous closing price on the NASDAQ. So, I mean, we could obviously come back down here and fill some of this gap down to here. But for now, I'm just going to sit tight and wait. Use some risk management and just chill. What's your plan for the opening bell, guys? What do you guys think? Let me know. Will Tesla close the gap? Yeah, Tesla's up after, again, news came out earlier that they're going to be debuting a new Roadster with flying stunt as early as this month. All right, I'm looking at Tanker Tracker. A national Iranian tanker company, VLCC supertanker, is seen today loading 2 million barrels of crude on Karg Island. This is the first loading sighting at the island since the end of July. They've continued loading tankers at other terminals. That said, Iran's oil production appears to be roughly in line with the country's refinery runs domestic consumption, meaning it may not need to export much. Again, Spacex completed a $60 billion acquisition of Cursor. It's completed a $60 billion acquiry of Cursor, which is an AI coding startup. It's making it one of the largest tech acquisitions ever. Became effective today, August 14th. It's part of Elon's efforts to strengthen the AI capabilities. With that said, though, the Nasdaq in a not a super small range, but still kind of flat over the last hour or two. Opening bell is in 10 minutes right now. We got the market on open data, which is in 5 minutes. So if we'll see if we get movement here. But overall, it's been a pretty quiet day. Why I'm not seeing the deal in Apex 5 account $79. It's got to be the intraday 25K. So it's got to be the intraday 25K account. This is where you get the 5-pack bundle for that price. Like if you go to Apex, and you look down here, it's got to be the intraday standard 25K. If you use code BGT at checkout, it'll give you whatever the discount is. If you don't use BGT, it's going to be much more expensive. But if you use BGT, you'll get the $15 each, $75 5-pack. I put 80K in socks. Hey, good luck, dude. Tough trading week. Yeah, I'm down on the week for sure. But I made a lot last week, so I think we're okay. Nasdaq starting to rebound back up right around the 200 EMA, but I just don't trust this. It looks like I could long, but sometimes you gotta just relax, I think. Yeah, if it's intraday, cushions matter less for sure in Apex accounts. So it just depends on how you want to do it. I like cushions, so I like end of day drawdown options. I like to build up a cushion and then take larger risk once I actually have a cushion. You can't do that as easily on intraday accounts, but all right, guys, we have the market on open data in 3 minutes. What do you guys mostly trade? Do y'all trade stocks? Y'all trade futures? If you trade futures, what do you trade? Nasdaq, S&P, oil right now. Oil's starting to pull back a little bit here heading into the opening bell. Yeah, most of Apex is in monthly subscriptions unless you have legacy accounts, which are monthly subscriptions. So depends on which ones you have. Stocks. The micro Nasdaq is my wife. The Russell. How do you trade the Russell though? I trade the Nasdaq for easy money. S&P, Nasdaq. I trade silver, stocks. I only trade shares of stocks. Micro Nasdaq, crypto perps, Pepe, Nasdaq and oil, stocks, silver, options in the queue. Crypto mostly, but lately some stocks. I trade the Nikkei. I trade futures and invest short and middle, long term. Gold, oil, Bitcoin, very few altcoins. Silver miners. Interesting the range of what people trade. I trade stocks and futures mostly. In futures, I trade mostly the NASDAQ, if you watch. Sometimes I'll get spicy and trade oil or trade gold, but mostly I stick with the NQ. It's what I do the best at generally. So, yeah, y'all hit the like button. Do me a favor. And lurkers, are you still here today? Market on open data drops in 1 minute. Are you here, lurkers? Have you gone back to lurking? Micro NASDAQ, micro gold. Drop. Yeah, y'all are here? Okay, good. Lurking while I'm working. That's all right. It's not really easy to trade today, though. StarCraft lurkers. Yes. Hey, what's up? What's up, Neon? Gia. Hello. I'm a bored again lurker. Hey, good luck to you guys. I swing trade stocks, and I should probably just stick to it. I mean, swing trading's the easier money, I think, right? Like, I love swing trading. It's one of the things. It's, you know. All I do is lurk, 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 no matter what. You're pretty involved, Alexis. I can appreciate you. 85 likes? No, we got better than that. We're at... I'm showing 224, but I got to refresh. Yeah, I'm showing 309 now. You just got to refresh your screen, dude. Mostly futures and options. Hey, thank you, Miss... Hey, we appreciate you, Ricky. Thank you, bro. Alright, guys. So, there's the market on open data. The NASDAQ has fallen a little bit on the MOO move. Oil just tapped the previous closing price, but all things considered, it's a pretty flat day in price action so far over the last few hours. We're still green on the day in indices mostly. Gold is still up. The NASDAQ is still up. The S&P is still close to all-time highs. Memory names have been rebounding a lot this morning. MU is pushing towards 1,000, and I think maybe $1,000 on MU will be like a magnet level, and that might boost indices as well. But that's kind of what I'm looking at today. The Beginner Trader Lurking Association. Hey, start it up, Raymond. No, Britt's not here today. 4 minutes left. Hey, thank you, Mark. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, sir. All right, guys, here we go. We got 3.5 minutes left. Let's see if we get some volatility at the opening bell. I'm waiting for it. Hey, it's all right, Christoph. John, don't get a bias in your head like yesterday when it rallied. Tom Lee, a beacon of accuracy. You know, a beacon of honesty and a beacon of accuracy, Tom Lee. Yeah, I won't get a bias, bro. I got you. I definitely have a bias. My bias is slightly bullish because I think MU's close enough to 1,000, and that might be a magnet type of thing. But we could certainly go the other way. Everybody always has a bias no matter what you do. We could try to be completely objective, but nobody is ever 100% objective. There's always somewhat of a bias in people's heads. You got to just try to trust what the price action's showing you, and hopefully you guess right. Oil now technically red on the day as well, though it's at 81.15s. Tom Lee predicts 8,100 for the S&P end of year. Didn't he predict Bitcoin 250K by the end of the year a few years ago? What happened to that? All right, 2 minutes. My bias is the NASDAQ going up 100 points and smacking my take profit. Dump until noon? I don't know. realistically, we're still pretty sideways on the day, and really even indices are pretty close to the break-even price on the day right now. S&P break-even price is at 78.25s. We're at 78.27s. Nasdaq break-even price is at 30,216. We're at 30,240. So we're still pretty close to flat on the day in most indices. What's not flat though is memory. MU up to 980s. SanDisk is popping up towards highs of the day ahead of the opening bell as well, right around 1650. So memory names are kind of propping markets up today. Nvidia is very green on the day as well, and it's rallied a little bit over the last 2 minutes as well. It's at 226.60s. Markets might be watching like 230s on Nvidia. So one minute left, guys. 1 minute. See what the bell brings. Gold's still pretty green on the day, I think. Yeah, gold's at highs right now. So gold has been doing really well after weaker retail sales data showed more dovish sentiment, less rate hike potential. No, I'm pretty sure he said that last year, Pooh. Maybe it was the year before. But either way, we're nowhere near 250s. All right, guys, 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Let's see what the opening bell brings us today. All right, here we go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here's the opening bell. All right, guys, so Nasdaq dipping a little bit. Let's see what other memory names do. Gold's still around highs of the day. We got to watch memory right now. I think MU's very close to 1,000, so I think we could rally up to 1,000 on MU, and that could drag the Nasdaq higher here, is my bias, but it doesn't mean we're going to completely break it. The S&P has gone slightly red, and actually now it's back green. But so far, Nasdaq is up a little bit in the first 30 seconds of the market open here. S&P back to red. Gold just broke highs of the day again. But so far we got kind of like a doji looking candle on the Nasdaq. So indecision right now at the opening bell. We do have Michigan consumer sentiment data in 30 minutes. So that is relevant to watch. Google's ripping up right now at the opening bell. It's at 345. So that might drag markets up as well. Michigan consumer sentiment data does drop today. It's expected at 54.4. But look at Google here at the open. Gold's still rallying some. Look at Google. 345s. Memory pulling back some now. Nasdaq kind of flat on divergence. Yep. Yeah, look at Google rally. 346s right now. Still push it up. Nasdaq very flat. And the 200 exponential is right here. Depends on what we're looking at the 200 EMA on. Here's the S&P. But we're pretty flat in most indices here. Gold's still pushing though. Oil is technically red on the day. Nvidia's rallying up. It's at 227s right now as well, but I can't really do anything with this. It's too flat. Oil continues to fall, though. It's back down to almost $81 a barrel. Just the NASDAQ going a little bit more red here. I think we got to watch memory too. Memory filling the entire gap, so, or not the entire gap, but a lot of this gap already. Look at memory names start to fall back down here. So memory is starting to pull at the opening bell so far. NASDAQ just went red on the day. This is a Lucid challenge. This is a Lucid eval. And so I might buy some here. But memory's starting to pull. I'm going to buy it right here around the VWAP. And we'll take some size. Again, this is an eval right now. We're going to play with this until we can settle down some here. But it's like what? 15 contracts, 16 contracts, 20, I guess. Give it a second here. We're right around the volume weighted average price, which is why I'm buying. But again, this is an eval, so we can take a little bit more risk. Well, I'll go ahead and sell this, most of this. We'll hold a little piece of it, but I don't want to get stuck under the VWAP here. So NASDAQ just went red on the day, so we'll wait. It's Friday, so it's not easy trading. A lot of stuff just pulled back here. I don't know. We filled some of this gap, though. I do believe we maybe can bounce back here. S&P starting to rebound too. Look at Google though. Google has basically rallied pretty big here since the opening bell. MU has filled a lot of the gap. I wonder if it can start to turn back up though. Nvidia has also rallied since the opening bell, but it pulled back some now. Yeah, I mean, I might be losing. I mean, we're not going to be green every day. And this is an eval, so we can play around with this. Nvidia giving back a lot of the gains they made at the opening bell. That might drag markets back down some. NASDAQ still turning pretty deeply negative now. A little bit of a bearish start to the day. Strategies. We do have Michigan data. Man, how long until Michigan data? It's at what, 10 a.m. in 23 minutes? A lot of pullbacks here at the open, though. We might take a small trade here in our actual funded account now. And then add to it. We're going to trade small, though. Maybe up to the VWAP and then cut it. There we go. Scalp out of this. There's the VWAP right there. I'm too worried the VWAP's going to push it back down, so I'm going to get out here. Oh, there we go. VWAP did push it back down, so we're still good there. We're still at the VWAP level, though. Previous closing price is right here on the NASDAQ. We're watching memory really close today, too. NVIDIA has basically gone right back down to the previous closing price, but we could have a situation in which there's a big range, but small, but no trend, or sideways trend, I should say. What's gold doing? Gold's still rallying up pretty decently. I mean, I think retail sales, the biggest benefitter is, I mean, obviously going to be gold in some instances from the retail sales cool print. Michigan consumer sentiment might move markets as well in 20 minutes. We'll have to wait and see, though. We'll put a timer up so you can actually see it. Back technically green on the day on the NASDAQ. We're at 220s now, though. NASDAQ still rallying back up some. Yeah, it's been a pretty quiet open, honestly. By the Bitcoin dip. I mean, I'm not messing with Bitcoin until the October, maybe. We'll see what the Michigan data does in 20 minutes. Hey, later, Sam. Have a good day, brother. Microsoft's greed. Yeah, I mean, we have a downward trend since the opening bell. It's not quite super tame. I mean, we broke down, and look, here's the NASDAQ starting to come down some more. So NASDAQ's back red on the day. Again, memory names kind of filled the gap up they did since the opening bell. Not to fry you, but Nike dips more. Who wears Nikes anymore? Everywhere I look, there's Jordan 1 high tops. So, I mean, it depends on how old you are, I think. Hikes incoming. That means dumpage. I mean, cooler retail sales data is the opposite of hikes. Cooler CPI and PPI data is the opposite of hikes. That's why gold's up so much. So, unless we get data that shows higher inflation with PCE, I mean, we're not getting a hike next month, probably. At least we could, but probably not. Impressive how at this volume with low trading activity, the live stream is full of people as nothing stops it. Yeah, I mean, it's mostly data driven though. Like, most people tune into my streams to watch economic reports and analysis of economic reports. Why do you guys watch the stream? I mean, that's a good question. Do you like economic data? Do you like my dream interpretation? Again, I had a dream last night. Honestly, this is true. I had a dream last night, and I was walking around in my dream, and I looked in the mirror, and I was a ginger. I had red hair in my dream. What does that mean? You know, I woke up, I realized it was just a nightmare. I'm honestly telling the truth. Nightmare jokes aside, I did have that dream last night. So. I enjoy redheaded stock traders. Good company while trading. Very informative. My hair. Your charts. That's fair. NASDAQ is, again, back at the 200 exponential here. Let's see if memory starts to rebound back up here. You're faster on news than I can be. Hey. Everything. Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate it. I need a haircut, dude. I'm tuning in to see if you ever quit vaping. One day, you know. Sandisk. I like how you're very humble. Definitely humble, bro. You know, when you look this good, it's hard to be, you know. It's hard to be humble. Alright, NASDAQ back over the 200 exponential here. Yeah, definitely top 3 most humble person ever right now, I think. Who's the other top 2? NASDAQ at 30,250s. We're starting to rally back towards highs here. I want to see if MU gets up there, though. A lot of this is driven by other tech, though. Like Google flew up this morning, kind of pulling back some. But AMD's breaking over. It's at 494s. We're at 250s right now. MU at 270. Let's get spicy and trade oil. Ugh. Look, my last name's London, so I feel like I represent Britain. But my beard is red in some places. So I feel like I represent Ireland as well here. NASDAQ up to 30,260s. MU at 970s. All right, we got 15 minutes here until Michigan consumer sentiment data. Nvidia started to rally back up, though. That started to drag the NASDAQ higher. AMD rallying back up, so this is semi-related. Memory's still fighting its way back up, though. SanDisk is at 1620s. I think the red hair represents the losses this week. That might be it, dude. You might have hit the nail on the head right there, dude. You look like Conor McGregor if he started vaping instead of smoking cigars. Hey, listen. I'm tempted to buy this pullback on the NASDAQ, but I'm scared I'm just going to get dumped on if I do. But we will try. Wait. This is a big drop here all of a sudden. Yeah, we had news on Tesla, Squirrel. News was about them debuting some type of roadster with a flying stunt. Tesla jumped up on the news, but it's still early. Alright, a big red candle with the NASDAQ. Still dropping back down some here. Very big range, but flat today, guys. I'm down on the day, though, for sure. It depends on your platform, brother. Regarding problems with the market today, it takes minutes to get orders filled. You guys red or green? The disco hair? Is this disco hair right here, bro? I just got curly long hair, dude. If I don't put anything in it, it's all, like, puffy. Don't judge my hair. Alright, we did buy this dip. Let's see if we hold here. We're up. Let's see if we can get a rally here. I might take some off because we do have some ahead of the 200 exponential. Or we do have some ahead of the Michigan consumer sentiment data. Oh, wait, y'all can't see it. My bad. Y'all are looking at my hair still. I am green. I'll take another piece off here. See if we can break that high, though. I might add to this. Green, brown, red. Red, relentlessly red, not red. Hey, you're doing better than me then. Green AF, green on 1 PA, 5-minute candles are bullish, red so far. Hey, we're getting back close to the highs on the NASDAQ here, but the problem I have with this, I mean, this is mostly SanDisk and MU rebounding back up. Filled about 3/4 of the gap, and now it's starting to push back up. NVIDIA's still looking a little red here, though, so NVIDIA could push the markets back down. We have about 10 minutes until Michigan data. Green. Hey, green is good, dude. All right, here we go. We're pushing back towards highs here. I might add more to this now. I just don't want to get faked out close to highs and then get a sell-off trap. But we can hold it break even, if anything. So, and we're going to be green on the trade because we took the majority of the profit off already. But I want to see if we can break highs here. Again, NVIDIA is the only... Memory's still fighting its way back up, but NVIDIA is looking a little bit weaker short term. Yeah, I'm going to get out of some of this size real quick here and just go flat and maybe buy another pullback here. But we did make money on that trade. Looks like I got out just in time, too, because look at this dip here in the NASDAQ. Again, Michigan data in 10 minutes. I don't think markets are waiting for this. I don't think it's a big enough catalyst to make markets wait, but it's something. Again, if you want to help support the channel, check out Apex right now. You can get a 5-pack bundle on Apex for $75 if you use the 25K intraday. You can get 5 accounts for $75 on Apex. Most day traders lose. It's a great way to help support us and our free content. And so if you appreciate hanging out every day, use my code. We appreciate it. Help support our free content here. So check it out. There's the link. Actually, the link is actually Nightbot just posted it for me, so I don't have to post it again. It's really whippy today, though, so... Software getting railed? Is it? Yeah, it is. Look at ServiceNow. So software is getting hammered, but software and memory names have kind of had an inverse correlation here. So as memory and AI names run, software goes down. But look at ServiceNow. Microsoft is still technically green on the day, though. Adobe hammered. IBM probably down as well. Yeah, IBM's down also. Tesla's running up after news it might debut some type of quote-unquote flying roadster. Flying is in quotes, though. I don't think it's actually going to fly. Oil's still falling down some, though, but the NASDAQ is now completely flat on the day again. S&P 500 is technically red on the day now, but it's still close to all-time highs. And the 7820 is the previous all-time high on the S&P. But here we go. Markets are starting to rebound back up. Look how whippy it is, though. This is not good price action to trade, guys. Just be careful. Flying is in quotes. All right. You know, flying. You know what I mean? So, it's supposed to be some type of stunt, I believe. So not actually flying, unfortunately. Yeah, the S&P bounced right at the previous all-time high at 7820s right here. This is the previous all-time high. So a lot of buy orders probably were at that spot because it's just such a big milestone level. There also might be other reasons, though. This is terrible, terrible price action. No good, very bad price action. I'm going to try to buy the dip here in this on the NASDAQ, but again, I don't necessarily feel super confident. I'll set a stop loss down here. See if we can rally higher. There we go. I got to take small base hits today if possible, though. I'm not going to take too much risk. Not a good area of the volume profile either. Yeah, we just got stopped out. It's just, it's so flat. Not a good market. Maybe Michigan data will boost this a little bit, but it's still pretty bad price action today. We're close enough to highs that markets get excited and then they slam it back down, and then we get down to lows and then they slam it back up. So they're just eating liquidity today. Just be careful. AVGO is down to $400 a share. So AVGO getting hammered too. I don't love the chop. I'm not good at trading this. So this is, yeah, we got Michigan data in 5 minutes, 6 minutes, but all right, 5 minutes until Michigan data. Oil bouncing back a little bit too here though. Hold on, let me check. Depends on how the market, what do you guys think the market's going to do to Michigan data? Bull or bear reaction here to University of Michigan consumer sentiment data? I mean, I honestly think we can go either way, but Michigan consumer sentiment data has been strong. We'll see what the market wants though. I appreciate the sub. Hey, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. It's 4 minutes. The market couldn't be stagnant waiting for Michigan data. I don't think it's big enough of a catalyst to make the market behave this way. I think it's just Friday and a mostly dovish week. I probably should have been trading gold more today. Gold's been a lot more cleaner in price action recently. Hey, thank you for the sub, Sats. Appreciate it. All right, guys, 3 minutes. Yeah, I don't think the market cares that much about Michigan data either. I just think we've already made moves from rate expectations and dovishness this week. And now markets don't know what to do ahead of the weekend. You also don't know if we're going to get more geopolitical escalation or uncertainty over the weekend, right? So we don't know in that regard what we're going to get. And so maybe markets are a little bit antsy in that way as well. Generally speaking, markets start to do more as fall and winter hits. The best market months are usually the winter months, or like the fall and winter months, October, November, December, and January. Historically, those are the best months for markets. Summer can be flat, but we've seen some volatility this summer, to be honest. Netflix is green again. Yeah, I mean, that's after Pershing Square Capital, and I mean, Netflix is kind of green. It's not like really green. All right, Michigan data in 2 minutes. That's mostly just from Pershing Square, Bill Ackman buying. Hold on, some type of news might have just dropped, or markets could just be whippy. Let me see, hold on. But yeah, Netflix is just up on Pershing Square Capital, buying more of it over the last few days. One of the best summers I've seen in 9 years. All right, Michigan data drops in a minute. Very, very, very boring price action today, guys. Yeah, I see oil, but oil's completely flat on the day right now. Previous closing price on WTI crude is 81.20. We're at 81.17, so it's almost exactly flat. Oh, for volatility, yeah, I mean, we've had volatile moves for sure. Memory, you know, AI fears, like all that stuff freaked markets out. So we've had volatility this summer for sure. And also remember, guys, like Warsh does a semi-annual, or no, not the semi-annual. Warsh does Jackson Hole Symposium at the end of this month. Same week as NVIDIA earnings. Same week as GDP PCE data goes live. So, you know, not next week. Next week we have the Fed minutes and more, but the week after that we're going to have a lot of stuff. Here's the Michigan data. Let's see if this moves things. We got the S&P and the NASDAQ up on the chart, but it drops in 10 seconds. And here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for Michigan data. And here's the report. So Michigan data weaker than expected. 51 versus 54.4 expected. 51 versus 54.4 expected. Inflation expectations did go up slightly for 1 year, and they stayed the same for 5 year. Consumer sentiment, again, weaker than expected. 51 versus 54.4 expected. I'll put this data up on the screen, but weaker consumer sentiment just released here. So we did have weaker consumer sentiment data. NASDAQ doesn't know how to react to this. If we look at it, it could be good. But again, it's still not a huge reaction to the Michigan data. But again, 51 versus 54.4 expected for Michigan data here. So weaker than expected consumer sentiment. Slightly higher inflation expectations, but not crazy high. And the weaker consumer sentiment could, you know, move yields. Let's see what yields do. Yields are down very slightly from this report, but not a lot. But again, weaker consumer sentiment, 51 versus 54s expected. So noticeably weaker than expected consumer sentiment. I'll put this up on screen. 51 versus expected 54. But again, this isn't giving any volatility to markets either. So kind of nothing here, to be honest. Not really a big report. Not really big movement. Yeah, here's the consumer sentiment data on the screen right now. Still very slow here, guys. I mean, I don't really know what to do with this price action. Yeah, Tradeify right now does have 40% off if you want to check out Tradeify. So Tradeify has 40% off. They have really nice options here. They have their select plan, which kind of lets you choose their path. So again, you can get 40% off right now. If you use code BGT, you could save $66 for the 50K. Great way to help support the channel. I'll put the Tradeify link up. They still have 40% off. I think you can use it 5 times on Tradeify. Check out their select plan. It's kind of like Lucid Flex. Here's the link. Oil back to green on the day. Aftermarket tweet. I don't know, dude. We haven't gotten like a geopolitical tweet in a minute here. So the interesting thing, though, like, look at oil start to rally back up. The interesting thing is that we are close to highs in the NASDAQ and the S&P. And so what it means is, like, maybe we'll go sideways until this range breaks, and then maybe when it breaks, we'll either rally or give it back, of course. But again, consumer sentiment fell sharply in August. But we're close to highs still, but the market action right now is very boring. SX starting to fight its way back up there, and so is the S&P. They're both technically green on the day now. Again, are y'all bullish or bearish here? I don't know. I'm slightly bullish just because we're so close to highs, but it hasn't been easy to really figure out market direction since the open. We started going down and filled the gap in memory, and then we rebounded back up, and now the NASDAQ's looking slightly bullish, but kind of a boring day, to be honest. I mean, we're close to highs, so it's not that boring, but day trading wise, very boring. Most people are slightly bullish too, yeah. I think sometimes we get close to the highs and we trap, and then we go back up, and we get close to highs and then we trap. But eventually, a lot of the time in that situation, we do end up breaking highs. It's all based off probabilities, though, and obviously it's not 100%. So it just depends on how long this range lasts and what happens. Tesla short, SPY up, Tesla up, Nvidia up. Nvidia's slightly up, but it's actually down since the opening bell. Nvidia opened up at like 226s, almost 227. We're at 226 now, so it's still down since the open. Yeah, I think MU might want to break 1,000. I mean, it's getting back up to 980s. So I think if, again, my thesis before the bell was that if MU gets close to 1,000, maybe we're going to run, but we ended up giving back so much of the gap at the opening bell originally that kind of put a damper on that that thesis. But now we're starting to get back up there. 987 is the MU high of the day, and we're seeing Nvidia start to run back up. So yeah, SanDisk and MU were doing really well. SanDisk just broke highs of the day here, so memory might start to drag us back up. Let's see. Still felt really trappy, though, in markets so far this morning. Hey, later, Lee. Have a good day, brother. I longed oil. Something has to break. I'm watching memory plays. I want to see what they do here, but Nvidia rallying a little bit. Yeah, I mean, market's boring right now, drops, but we could always go the other way. I mean, we could always do something here. We just got to wait for the range to break. It's been a pretty tight range. And if chips and semis continue to rally in memory specifically, then we could get to highs again today. Could just be lulling everybody to sleep until it doesn't, you know. All right, we got a big retracement back up. Maybe another trap here too towards highs, getting people excited and then dumping it back down, but we're back to the high volume area of the volume profile, but look at that move. Starting to rally back up. Let's see. But very flat. We're in the middle range here, so nothing I can really do here, I think. SanDisk is starting to give back some of the gains it made. Wasn't the CEO speaking somewhere this morning? Yeah, I think I probably just got to sit it out for the day, guys. I'm probably going to hang it up. We don't really have any good price action. We're still in this middle range here. Maybe it'll break out of this eventually. But for now, this is just really kind of boring here. Not a lot going on. So if you haven't already, I'll put the link up. It's a great way to help support the channel. Check out Apex if you want cheap accounts. If you want good rules, check out Lucid. If you want good options, check out Tradeify. Tradeify and Lucid also have direct to funded, so you can skip the eval completely. So check all of that stuff out. Links are in the description. Here's the Apex link one more time. But I'm just going to enjoy my weekend here, guys. We're down on the day for sure, though. But that's how it goes sometimes. And so we'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. Have a great day. Use code BGT if you want to help support the channel. We appreciate it. We'll see if we end up getting close to highs on the day. But I think it's probably time for me to hang up. The longer I look at charts, the more likely I am to keep trading it. And I don't want to keep trading this price action here. So love to everybody here. I appreciate the love. Thanks for watching the stream today, guys. And yeah, y'all have a great day. I'll see you guys later.